Set a few years after the end of the Civil War, romance novelist Merline Lovelace's The Horse Soldier, 2000, the first installment of her Garretts of Wyoming series, follows a couple given a second chance at love after their hasty early marriage is undone by circumstances beyond their control. Against the backdrop of raids on Native Americans across the Wyoming Territory, a determined mother and her young daughter seek safety while navigating their complex relationship with a soldier who never expected to see the love of his life again. The story unfolds through flashbacks in the novel, though this summary will present events chronologically. Southern belle Julia Robichaud grows up in a wealthy New Orleans family. At the outbreak of the Civil War, she meets and falls in love with Andrew Garrett, a Union spy working undercover in the city. Their whirlwind romance leads to a secret marriage. Just days later, Andrew leaves New Orleans to report his intelligence, planning to return soon for Julia. While he is away, his cover is compromised. Upon his return, Julia's Confederate-aligned uncle shoots him, declaring him dead to Julia, though in truth Andrew is sent to a prisoner of war camp. Heartbroken, Julia is manipulated by her uncle into annulling the marriage, believing Andrew had used her for his espionage. Meanwhile, Andrew, unaware of the annulment, assumes Julia betrayed him and bitterly regrets their union. During his imprisonment, he suffers torture but is eventually released in time to fight at the Battle of Andersonville. In Andrew's absence, Julia quickly marries Philip Bonneau and has a daughter, Suzanne. Philip soon proves to be a degenerate gambler and abandons them to seek fortune in Montana's goldfields. By 1867, 7 years after her marriage to Andrew, penniless Julia sets out for Wyoming in search of Philip. Along the way, she and Suzanne encounter wagon trouble and become stranded at Fort Laramie. There, she encounters a familiar figure, Andrew, now a major and second in command at the fort. Shocked, Julia faints, believing him long dead. Once their stories are clarified, both are stunned to learn that neither has betrayed the other. The Honorable Andrew offers to help Julia while she waits for news of Philip, though she insists she wants nothing to do with him. He secures her a position as a laundress at the fort, a humbling departure from her former status as the belle of New Orleans. Julia befriends several fort residents: Mary Donovan, whose large family entertains Suzanne, the harsh Colonel Kavanaugh, who commands the post, and Walks in Moonlight, wife of Scout Lone Eagle, whose daughter Little Hen becomes Suzanne's playmate. Despite Julia's attempts to push Andrew away, it becomes clear he has never stopped loving her. His closeness and her vulnerability make it increasingly difficult for him to hide his feelings, while Julia struggles to avoid depending on anyone again. Inevitably, her defenses falter, and the two embark on a physical relationship. Andrew works to ensure Julia and Suzanne remain in his life, though Suzanne clings to the hope of reuniting with her father and resists Andrew's presence. The little girl's attempts to drive him away are met with Andrew's patient perseverance, gradually earning her trust. When news finally arrives from Montana that Philip has died, Julia and Andrew breathe a quiet relief, their seemingly impossible situation resolved without confrontation. They begin planning to leave the fort together and start a family. Just as they are about to depart, however, Philip appears at Fort Laramie. The earlier report of his death was mistaken. Having learned Julia and Suzanne were searching for him, he set out to meet them. Confused and torn, Julia decides, for Suzanne's sake, to return with Philip. The three begin the journey back toward New Orleans, but Philip is suddenly killed along the way. Grieving yet steadfast, Julia returns to the fort, finally free to embrace a future with Andrew, and together they begin their long-awaited life as a family. Thank you for watching. If you enjoy this video, leave a like and subscribe.